How are you guys doing? Am I meeting you at a tough spot? I want to encourage you, do not be frustrated. Your letters are not going to be beautiful. Your drills are not going to be beautiful. Your transitions aren't going to be great, but that's why we're practicing. Now, since you've been practicing, if you feel as though you've done a little bit better and your lines are consistent and you feel as though you're getting good thicks and good thins, then we're going to go to the next step. This is the exciting part. We're going to start creating letters. Just like we did our drills, we now know our shapes. We're going to go for it. So this is the thing. We have the brush aisle or the pencil aisle. We have the modern aisle. You guys can choose either of them. I'm choosing to use tracing paper. I will also show you what it's like on regular paper, just in case you don't have the ability to use the tracing paper, okay? So feel free to follow any of these. I've now given you some guidelines on lifting your pen. It's a guideline. You can absolutely choose when you do your A to do it with one stroke. It's okay. It's not a bad thing. The reason we always lift the pen is so that we prevent hesitation marks. If you feel in any way that you are getting those hesitation marks, don't forget, are you breathing? Is your elbow on the table? And are you going slow enough? If you feel as though you are, then you need to be lifting that pen more, just until you get the basics down. It's extremely important and everybody has to go through it. You can choose, like I said, to copy any of these. Now this right here is called an exit, all right? Sometimes you'll see letters come in, that's called an entrance. This is an exit. You want to make sure that all of your exits are going the same direction. That's why a lot of people will choose to use this particular lined paper. You can see that this line and this line are not parallel. This one kind of goes in a little bit. So this paper is really good to use for getting your exits to go the exact same direction. And that is extremely important later on. So start now to get your exits going in the same direction. So I'm going to go on ahead and do this. And there it goes. All right? Even if I did it without lifting my pen, I need it to go all in the same direction. We're going to do the same thing with every other letter. The C, the D, the E, all of them should go consistently the same direction. All right? Let's try B, thin up, transition, thick down, and then another transition where you're going thin up and thick down. So there's quite a few lines where it's going to get thick and thin, which could be quite intimidating. Let's give it a try. Thin up. Then as I'm starting to turn, I'm laying on a little bit more pressure. There we go. It's pretty good. I can kind of fill that in. Now I'm going to do the bowl. That's what this is called. It's a bowl of the B. So that one actually turned out really good. You can see that there. Whereas this one's a little pointy, but I don't hate it. Thin up. Thick down. There we go. Let's do one more. Now I'd like to just point this out real quickly. I did not go nearly as slow as I did on this one. And look how wiggly my lines are and how thick I got here. And I'm pointing this out to show you I've been doing this a long time. And this is slow and this is not. And I still make those mistakes. So don't beat yourself up. We're going to do the D. There's a couple ways. I'm going to show you a couple Ds here, okay? This is where I'm showing you your personality can come in. I often do not suggest you starting to play willy-nilly until you figure out how to do the shapes of your letters before you start to get super creative. But this D isn't necessarily the correct D. I'm going to actually create two Ds. You're going to notice this one here has got the loop. This D doesn't. So I'm going to create two different Ds so that you can see both. This D could easily be two different ways. So I'm going to go on ahead and show you two different ways. I'm making the oval. And now this line here, there's that D. And now I'm going to make the other D. Remember, you want your exit to be identical on every single letter. It's extremely important in the near future. So you may as well start now so you don't have to try and retrain yourself later. So there's my oval. Now from here, I'm going to create my loop. These are going off the same direction. Once again, I went too far into my bowl. I should have stayed further to the right like this one.